Hello. This is part 2 of doing what my childhood or my inner child wants me to do. And it wants to read chapter 2 of the book I was reading. What did I do with it? Oh, exactly where I put it. How to Make Your Audience Fall in Love with You by Deryn Warren. I've read this book like 2 times already, but I like to read it out loud. I don't know. It's fun. Like sides in them from books and stuff that are movies and plays that I've never seen before or heard of, and I get to learn a little bit more about them. All right, so we're on chapter 2. Last chapter was kind of a brief overview, like, of the things that make you fall in love with you. And risk is one. Using yourself is one. And using humor, using energy, and loving yourself. And this week, it's going to be making choices, or what am I fighting for, which is a good one to fall back on when you don't have much time to work on a script. You know what your choices are, and specifically what you're fighting for in relationship. It helps. All right. Paradoxically, in order to get the casting director and the audience to love you, you must pay no attention to what you're thinking while you work. You must only pay attention to your partner in the scene. Every scene is about you fighting to change your partner in some way. This fight is the first building block of acting. That's just concentrating focus, what they're talking about. Like, nothing else matters than what you're fighting your partner. What you're fighting to change your partner. So, concentrate focus. Only focus on them, so you don't have to worry about focusing on anything else. Your thoughts, are you doing it wrong? How did you say that? Blah, 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 blah. It all just come out. Teachers call it by many different names, such as attention, intention, action, motivation, or goal. I like the term fighting for, used by Michael Shortliff, who wrote Audition, because it implies the strongest conflict. Audition is a good book too. The more you need to change your partner, the harder you will fight. The higher the stakes and the more you care about. The higher the stakes and the more you care about winning, the more riveting the scene will be. Take a scene in which a man is on a treadmill trying to pick up a stunning woman on the machine next to him. You might say he is just fighting to have sex with her or get a date with her. This is a minimal and obvious choice that doesn't have complications or layers or importance. Make him have to fight extra hard. Raise the stakes. Make it the first woman he's asked out in a year. Make him gay and trying to be straight. Make him so lonely that he'll kill himself if this woman won't agree to date him. Too many actors do just what it is written on the page. Risky choices give extra fascinating layers to the scene. Here's some choices you could make when you're working on scenes. So what am I fighting for choices? A choice to be to test my partner's commitment. To win the game we are playing, make sure you register the wins and loses in the script. To be perfect for my partner, or to be exactly what I think my partner wants me to be. To change my partner's mind. To make my partner crazy. To inspire my partner to do something I want. To seek revenge on my partner. To make my partner fall in love with me. To force my partner to see my point of view. To prove to my partner I am good enough for his family, a job, or whatever may be at stake. To prove to my partner I am better than she is. To get my partner to do what I want and like it. To change my partner into the person I want him or her to be. To maintain the status quo in a relationship because you are terrified of change, so the stakes are high. To punish my partner. Notice that all the goals involve your partner in a scene, and they're kind of things that you kind of have to like do. You can't just be sitting there thinking in your head like, I want them to do this. It's like, it's an action. You have to figure out how to make it happen. So yeah, and they all involve your partner. If you're arguing with your brother about whether to put your mother in a home, don't make the argument about your mother. Make it a power struggle between you and your brother. Scenes are always about changing your partner, not a third party. All right, not someone else. Always make sure you are enmeshed, and that's like when you're talking to your lawyer or a judge, you're talking to your sister, you're talking to the stranger on the street. If they're in that scene with you, it's about them. Always make sure you, if not, then you would leave. Always make sure you enmesh with your partner, even if the scene is about someone or something else. Metaphorically lean forward in the eagerness to change your partner. Don't make weak choices like getting your partner to like you. We want everyone to like us, so that is not strong enough, interesting enough. There are infinite choices for fighting fors. The previous list offers only a few suggestions. When you make your choice as to what to fight for, make sure it's a choice with high stakes. Remember that all your choices would be urgent enough that your stomach muscles are tight. A surefire indicator that you are working hard enough toward the important goal that you choose. Your choice should feel like an invisible hand on the front of your shirt, pulling you toward your goal or changing your partner. Looking at the fighting for, the example of to be perfect for my partner, this goal could be useful for a scene in which you find yourself with a dangerous, crazy person. So let's make sure we heard that right. Looking at the fighting for example of to be perfect for my partner, this goal could be useful for a scene in which you find yourself with a dangerous, crazy person. So to be perfect for your partner. All right. Every muscle in your body is poised to jump out of harm's way. Your brain is racing to find the best way to talk to this person. You're either on high alert. No one will be able to take their eyes off of you. So yeah, you want to make sure you don't that you don't trigger something in your partner to do something dangerous and crazy for. So you tense and you high alert and it's there, even if the words are saying something completely different. The fighting for it to be perfect for my partner could also involve a wife with a tyrannical husband. She meekly tries not to infuriate her husband. She brings him food and agrees with his opinions. But it must be hard work to act so passive when she's not naturally passive. And we should see the toll it takes on her. Imagine if you had to cater to your mate's every whim, but make sure you don't lose your sense of humor or irony when you play this part. You could be plotting to kill him. You could be having an affair on his nose. There must be flashes of your old independent self. If you don't use your strong self in a role and your dislike of being meek, then you will be in danger of seeming dull. Remember, you have to use as many aspects of yourself as you can in every scene. Look at the goal to test my partner's commitment. Don't we all do that in romantic relationships? We put our partners in situations like meeting the in-laws to see how they do. We may pick fights to see if they will love us anyway. We may push for marriage to test whether they are serious. Children press their parents all the time to see what they can get away with. The fighting for to win the game we are playing could involve a couple arguing over which restaurant they're going to. If the exchange is as lighthearted as it can be fun, If the exchange is lighthearted, it can be fun, but of course the issue of control looms large. Another game fighting for it could be about neatness. Honey, the wife could say, your sock is in the bathroom floor. It's lonely for its partner. The husband replies that the sock is happy where it is. This is a game, but again, the conflict is real and can go deep. I need water. All right. Sarcasm is a game. What if a woman expects her lover to greet her with flowers and he appears with one rose hastily plucked from the garden? Instead of getting furious, she uses game playing, saying, you sure went all out, which makes the same point. Her fighting for her is to make her husband be more romantic, or else. There's a scene in Seinfeld in which Kramer wants Jerry to taste a piece of cantaloupe, and Jerry doesn't want to. It's a silly but funny argument. After Jerry reluctantly tastes the cantaloupe and rather likes it, Kramer tells Jerry that he should buy all his fruit at Joe's instead of the shop he goes to. Again, Jerry resists and gives Kramer reasons why the closer shop is better. Tip is to look for lines in your scripts that could be played with games. And this is in that book Audition too. What is Kramer fighting for? There are several choices from the previous list: to force Jerry to see his point of view, to get Jerry to do what Kramer wants, or to change Jerry into the person Kramer wants him to be, i.e. a cantaloupe eating smart shopper. Kramer must care desperately that Jerry eat the cantaloupe. He doesn't let up on him. When he wins and Jerry takes a bite, Kramer fights to get Jerry to say it's the best he ever ate. Then he wants Jerry to shop where he shops. The further Kramer goes with his desire to change Jerry, the more fun it is. Jerry has the harder part in this because he is reacted to Kramer. Jerry could be fighting to win the game they are playing. The game of Kramer insisting that Jerry and Jamer resisting. Or Jerry could fight to keep Kramer from running his life. But don't forget that this is a comedy, and Jerry's energy and commitment have to match Kramer's. Jerry should not fall into the trap of being negative and down. Alright, so yeah, don't, like, I know it would be like, oh, that's the one, she's like pessimistic, she's against it, everything, like da. But don't be a negative and down person. They don't make those choices to be like, she's like kind of a Debbie Downer, and so like she's always saying no. It's like she's always saying no, but she doesn't know she's always saying no. Alright, she thinks she's dope. For example, when he finally tastes the cantaloupe, he should say that it's very good with pleasure and surprise, not grudgingly. Surprise, surprise, bitch. That's even better. Alright, we don't want to like the person who's like, no. The scene is wonderful example of, I talk too much. The scene is a wonderful example of topping. After Kramer makes a point, Jeremy has to top him with a better point, and then Kramer has to top him with even more fever. Each actor tops the other, and the energy rises as the contest continues. Because this is a light comedy, the actor's last line should have an up tilt. Don't let the last words go downward and drag the comedic energy down. Tip: always end a comedic audition or a scene with the up energy. Never let the last words run downhill. Win the last point, or if you can't win, or at least be prepared to try with that same up energy. If your last line in a lighthearted comedy, for example, is "I think you should leave," then don't say it with disgust. Say it with the word leave. Go down in energy. Say, "I think you should leave." With the up energy, what? Then don't say it with disgust with the word leave going down in energy. Okay. Say, "I think you should leave," with an up energy, as if leaving is the best idea you could think of. This way you're fighting for is still strong, but the comedic approach is still there. Y'all know what it means. Fighting for is without words. Don't forget that words are only a fraction of the message. Sending specific messages with silent dialogue is just as important. There are many ways other than words to change your partner. For example, 1. Body language, gesture of impatience, intimate loving touches, snarls, sniffs of superiority, kisses of all types, downturns of the mouth signifying disapproval. All of these are wordless messages. 2. Physical violence. If you're fighting verbally, add blows to the scene and watch the stakes rise. If you're auditioning, you must choreograph the blows with your partner. If that is not possible, hit the furniture instead. Alright, so like if you get a chance and you see furniture or you see something around, you can break something, whatever, like get physical if you can. 3. Looks. Looks are important. What could be more powerful message than rolling eyes or even brimming with tears and reproach? Or a look of disgust from a wife and to a husband flirting at a party. Looks can tell your partner, "I find you attractive. You hurt my feelings. You are sexy. You make me sick. I'm warning you. You're boring me. You think that's interesting? I love you," or "You're funny." Silent messages are often more effective than words. Tip: the camera itches to do a close-up of an actor. The camera itches to do a close-up if an actor is conveying the silent messages. All right. Find your partner worthy of the fight. Never find your partner uninteresting. If you find your partner dull, then you are in danger of appearing dull. Find your partner infuriating or sinful or evil or gross. But don't ever find them not worthy of effort. Never choose that you want your partner to leave the room. Choose that you want him to stay so you can score points or make him miserable. You can tell him you want to leave, but don't really want him to. What fun would you have then? You can tell him you want to leave, but you don't really want to. What fun would you have then? Yeah, you gotta remember that this is like all playing, like using your imagination. Like, if you don't like playing games, then I don't think this is the thing for you. If that makes sense. Not in like, but it can be. It could be like a healthy way of letting out those things that you don't get to do on a regular basis in society. Like, you don't. I think nowadays people are like, I'm gonna do my tit for tat shit. I don't give a fuck with that new song. Like, yes, I'm a hater. I don't care. Da da da. So people are doing it more. But acting is a really good way to do it in a really fun way, and saying words and doing interesting stuff that you won't go to jail for. And so you get to let all of that out. It's a game. It's fun. It's silly. We're like, it's a competition. So, like, it is an art, but like, you gotta like be ready to like, okay, all right, let's play, let's do this. All right, you ready? Oh, you said that to me. Okay, that's okay. I got you then. Big up on that. All right, that type of thing, and it makes it more fun. And it's silly, especially if it's not like anything real. We're just having fun with each other. Alrighty, and it's good that helps you with being able to laugh at yourself, which is so fucking important. Alrighty. The opposite of love is not anger or hate. It is indifference. If you are indifferent to your partner, we don't have a spellbinding scene. You must care enough about your partner to be angry with him. If you're fighting, then the more involved you are with your partner in the scene. The higher the stakes are, the angrier you will be. You always love. Every scene is a love scene. Picking the wrong fighting for can adversely affect your scene. Two men might clash at the scene. One of them appeared weak in comparison to his partner. The weak one was fighting for his partner to save him. In the next contest, in another contest, that is a fine choice. But in this case, when the weaker actor chose instead. But in this case, when the weaker actor chose instead to fight to prove that he was equal to his partner, his performance was transformed. Choose a fighting for that works best for your scene and that makes you work hard. All right, you should leave out like stomach, like she was saying in the last chapter, your stomach like tight and like you're exhausted, like a little intense. A lot of times for big auditions, because those co-star roles, you're just talking. Like like hostess or waiter, like we're talking about like those big meaty stuff. All right, things you get to do in your acting classes, so you get to practice for it, so you can be prepared to do those big meaty stuff. All right. The following scene is from The Lady in the Clarinet by Michael Christopher. Paul, who works for Luba's father, is picking up some papers. Luba is nervous about a date who is about to arrive. The scene can make the actors fall into the trap of indifference to their partner. What are Paul and Luba fighting for? The first line is Paul. I should have telephoned first because I was a virgin, just to see. What? I'm a virgin. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Not half as sorry as I am. Oh God, I wish I were dead. I wish I were dead and buried alive and 40 years old. Are you still here? Yes, I think so. Look at you. Look at yourself. Look at your clothes. You've been wearing the same pair of pants since the day I was born. Where do you come from, Paul? Nowhere. Perfect. I mean, I was born here. Live here all your life. Oh, yes. Yes. I'm perfectly happy here. Oh, yes. Never think you might shove your feeble life into a suitcase and just hit the road? Why? I don't know. Just for the hell of it. Don't you ever feel a need, a pull, or a yearning to break loose, break out, tear down the walls and run? Christ, what are you made of? You have a destiny. Fate has plans for you. Why do you think God put you on this earth? You're here for a reason. I just came for the papers. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Am I the only living thing alive? What's the matter with you? You're all crazy. I'm dying. I can feel it. Every cell in my body is screaming for air. My skin is suffocating. Golly, yeah. Golly. Maybe you should say what? A doctor? Well, if done, literally, Paul's responses could make him appear as if he stupidly doesn't understand what Luba is implying. He's limited and unsophisticated. When she asks if he has lived in one place all his life, when she asks him if he lived in one place, it'll be limiting if he's unsophisticated. Wait, let me just say that again. If done literally, Paul's responses could make him appear as if he stupidly doesn't understand that Luba is implying that he's limited and unsophisticated when she asks if he lived in one place all his life. What casting director or audience is interested in a stupid man? Just because Luba is implying that Paul is limited and unadventurous, don't fall into the trap of making him stupid and dull. And don't fall into the trap of thinking Luba is not interested in him. Oh, yes. Yes, perfectly happy here. Oh, yes. Never think you might shove your feeble life into a suitcase and just hit the road. Why? It seems at first glance that the character Paul doesn't like Luba. After all, he thinks she is nuts and should see a doctor. So, doesn't he want to get away as fast as possible? No. Remember, if you're indifferent to your partner, then you appear unattractive and boring. We don't have a scene worth watching. Choose that Paul is fascinated by Luba, and the more she rants or raves, the more intrigued he gets. Perhaps he has a boring life, and he's never heard anyone so open, emotional, and flamboyant. He's attracted to her and amused by her putting him down. He knows he's not dumb and provincial. To make him attractive and interesting is smart. Play that Paul is amused by putting him down. He's teasing her. Look at Paul's response to the following lines. Luba, not half as sorry as I am. God, I wish I was dead. I wish I were dead and buried alive and 40 years old. Are you still here? Yes, I think so. Paul is making a joke. He could laugh out loud with delight at this amazing woman. Yes, I think so. That's a good choice. Paul is making a joke. He could laugh out loud with delight at this amazing woman. When Luba says, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, am I the only living thing alive? And Paul says, what's the matter with you? But not in a nasty way. He asks with a genuine interest. So instead of the casting director seeing a disapproving, stupid, judgmental, sour-faced man, he will see a man with a sense of humor, showing his appreciation of a beautiful woman and having a great time. I think I was reading something and I've been affirming it. What is it? I'm kind to others. I can't remember. Something else to yourself, but you're kind to others. Try kindness. And being interested in your people. All right. Paul has never met anyone like her. Paul could be fighting to be perfect for Luba, to be the kind of man she wants him to be. He has to struggle over his answers to make them just right. Read the scene again with that in mind. All right, let's try it again. All right. I should have telephoned first because I was a virgin, just to see. What? I'm a virgin. Oh. Well, I'm sorry. Not as half as sorry as I am. God, I wish I were dead. I wish I were dead and buried alive and 40 years old. Are you still here? Yes, I think so. Look at you. Look at yourself. Look at your clothes. You've been wearing the same pair of pants since the day I was born. Where do you come from, Paul? Nowhere. Perfect. I mean, I was born here. Lived here all your life. Oh, yes. Yes. Perfectly happy here. Oh, yes. Never think you might shove your feeble life into a suitcase and just hit the road. Why? I don't know. Just for the hell of it. Don't you ever feel a need, a pull, a yearning to break loose, break out, tear down the walls, and run? Christ, what are you made of? You have a destiny. Fate has plans for you. Why do you think God put you on this earth? You're here for a reason. I just gave the papers. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Am I the only living thing alive? What's the matter with you? You're all crazy. I'm dying. I can feel it. Every cell in my body is screaming for air. My skin is suffocating. Golly. Yeah, golly. Maybe you should see, what, a doctor? Well, I think it's kind of similar to how I read it before. All right. You might also think that Luba dislikes Paul and not interested in him, but Luba is trying to change Paul into a more exciting man. She golds him, embarrasses him, and forces him to look at himself. She has to think he is worth the big effort. Choose it as she's attracted to him as he is to her. Do this as a love scene instead of a mutual put down scene, and your audience will be enthralled. Maybe when I read these things, I should probably read it badly, but I'm just going with the flow of the scene when I do read them the first time. I don't know what's happening. I don't remember them. Attractive fighting forwards. Like the choices for Paul that made him look attractive instead of nasty and judgmental, be sure in every scene to make choices that make you fascinating to your partner and your audience. Take the whine out your voice. Don't act tired or bored. Don't make any choices that make you not like someone or that make you look like a drag. I know a beautiful woman who is bitter, whiny, and has a victim complex. Although she's attentive to her dates, she never is asked out on a second date. Take a lesson from misfortunes and wherever possible. Even if you're playing a killer, make attractive choices in your life. You know what? That's true. Like, let you be the one to say no. Even if you're playing a killer, make attractive choices in your work and in your life too. I recently met a young actress at a hair salon. She was funny, full of character, and energetic. When I told her I was an acting teacher, she asked for some tips for a play, and she was rehearsing. I told her that the first line of the scene should have action. She said her first lines were something like, "Hey, I know what you did, you creep." She said them for me, running the three lines together and saying them nastily as if she were weary and disgusted. None of the charm or energy none of the charm and energy I had been taking in when she showed me her work. As she said the lines, her personal appeal was nil. No one would cast her in anything else if they saw her using such unattractive choices. I told her to use herself and to use humor. She said that the director had told her to do it this way. I replied that the director was obviously inexperienced, so she said present him with another choice, and he would see it was better. Her action could be to tell the partner, "I am someone you can't mess with." Hey, should demand attention. "I know what you did," could give a game into, and if she were having fun saying, "Watch out, I have your number," you creep does not need to be said with disgust. A better choice for these lines is humorous disbelief that anyone could sink that low. Each choice is believable, but the first one revealed nothing nice about the actress. The second choice showed her humor, intelligence, and strength. All right, I'm gonna read that again because I fumbled the lines like I always do. Her action could be to tell her partner, "I am someone you can't mess with." Hey should demand attention. "I know what you did" could have a game in it as if she were having fun saying, "Watch out, I have your number." The "you creep" does not need to be said with disgust. A better choice for these lines is humorous disbelief that anyone could sink that low. Each choice is believable. Maggie Smith had a line in Robert Altman's Gosford Park in which she puts down a woman who wore the same dinner dress that night because her luggage had not arrived. The line was, "Green is such a tiresome color." If the line is done weak, dismissive, with a nasty observation, it makes the speaker seem unattractive. Maggie Smith used all her energy to deliver a devastating put down with, "I'm positive her stomach muscles tighten on tiresome." As in, green is such a tiresome color. Her intention was to make others guests laugh and the audience howl. See anything Maggie Smith does, she's a brilliant example of focus, energy, and specificity. She said, to repeat this, it says, "As in green," slight pause, "is such a tiresome color." Stage versus film acting. I need to slow down. Don't think of the two techniques as radically different. They both require the same choices and the same energy. It is wrong to think of acting for film as natural and therefore need less energy or need to be toned down. Jack Nicholson and Chris Rock both have huge energy in whatever role they have, and we believe them. The biggest difference between stage and film acting is the adjustment in volume needed to be heard by a large audience. In film, however, unlike stage acting, the most fleeting expressions are caught by the camera. The camera reads silent dialogue. Stage actors sometimes need to be broader to make themselves heard, but stage actors still need to use themselves and look out of their own eyes. Never weaken your energy of what you're fighting for because you're in front of a camera. Never play an unbelievable character because you're on stage. Use yourself at all times. Blocking in your use of props must support what you're fighting for. Don't use props and blocking to keep busy. Use them to reflect the emotion of the scene and support your action. If your action is to punish someone for their sloppiness, you might say, "Look how much trouble you caused me," as you fling all their mess into a closet. If your action is to show your partner you are in love and want to have sex, you will handle the props in a sensuous way. For the famous fake orgasm scene in the restaurant in When Harry Met Sally, Meg Ryan unconsciously slid her hand down and up a wine glass. The director was delighted and did a close-up of her hand. My pet peeve, the favorite of amateur stage production, is salad making. Back and forth, the actor goes to the refrigerator, teasingly getting the ingredients and chopping up lettuce and cucumbers while carrying on conversation. The director forces you to make a salad, then chop up the vegetable with anger, or handle the lettuce sensually. Or bite down on a cherry tomato as though it was the head of your partner. Blocking should also reflect emotions. Only move when you want to get away from someone or when you want to move closer. Random movements or frantic activity are irritating to the audience. Many actors move out of their nervousness. Instead, they should hold their ground and stand up straight. I tell my students to keep their power. Shuffling or leaning towards the partner gives up power to the partner. Another of my pet peeve is the cliche blocking of one actor standing behind his partner, staring out into a sunset, describing their future. People don't have to stare into each other's eyes, but they do have to check in with each other to see the impact their words have had. They check in to see if they're communicating. Unless it's Shakespeare, people don't muse out loud by themselves. Always talk to your partner. If your partner is saying a line about building a house on a mountain and gestures toward an imaginary mountain, don't look at the fake mountain. Look at him. He's making images for you. Keep the use of blocking and props relevant to the fighting for. In Los Angeles, I saw a play called The Talking Cure by Christopher Hampton. There were 3 brief scenes between a husband and a wife interspersed with other scenes. The well-known director gave the wife useless props for each scene. In the first scene, she gave her husband a glass of water. In the second scene, she gave him a cup of tea. In the third scene, she was knitting. What did any of these props have to do with the fighting for in the scene? Nothing. Neither the director nor the actress made the props relate to the emotions of the scene. It would have been better in the scene not to use props at all, as they made the scene stagey and unbelievable. Find at least 3 ways to achieve what you're fighting for. All right. Even the strongest choice for you're fighting for can get old if you stick with only one plan. For example, if you're fighting to get your partner to help more with cleaning the house, and this can be a heated subject going to the core of your relationship, you might plan calm persuasion, which deteriorates into yelling, followed by tears and threats to leave. If you're fighting to get your mother to accept your ex-boyfriend, tell her all wonderful things about him. If she's not persuaded, assert your independence. After that, put her mothering skills and then finally burst into tears. Tears are very effective. In life, we know when we are making our point, and we switch to another tactic. Do this with your acting too. I once did a dramatic scene with my teacher, Michael Shortlife. I ran and raved and screamed, and real tears streaked down my cheeks. I was so proud of myself. After the scene was over, I waited for him to tell me I was brilliant, but he didn't. You're all one level, he said, and after a while, the audience will tune out. You have to have different approaches toward your goal of changing your partner in order to hold the audience attention. I should have been sensitive to my partner's reaction, and when my ranting and raving didn't achieve my objective, I should have tried other ways to get him to change. I should have tried sulking or reasoning with him or threatened to leave, then give him a calm but effective guilt trip. I could have even tried to seduce him. I learned a valuable lesson. I hope you learn too. Oh my God. Weak fighting fors. Actors so often tell me that their motivation of what they're fighting for is, I want him or her to like me. It's weak. We all want everyone to like us. If your mailman, whom you may see for a minute every few days, acts angry with you, you worry all day. What did I do to him? You ask. He'll be a thorn in your side until you make friends with again. He will be like, we all want to be liked by everyone. It's universal, so it's a weak choice. It's all about you and doesn't include your wanting to change your partner. If I ask your students what they're fighting for in the scene, and they start with, I just want to, I stop them right away. If you say just, your choice is weak. Another common weak choice is, I want to be understood. Of course we want to be understood by everyone. Nothing unusual there. Nothing interesting there. And it's all about you. Choose a fighting for that inspires you to fight ferociously. Your partner must see your point of view. You have to prevail. He has to do what you want. Summary. Find the strongest fighting for and make sure it involves your partner. Never find your partner uninteresting. The more mesmerized you are by your partner, the more mesmerized we will be by you. Convey as many physical and silent messages as you can. Use your blocking and props to support what you're fighting for. Be passionate about your goal of changing your partner and find at least 3 strategies to accomplish it. Don't play it safe and just be polite. Risk. Alrighty. That's chapter 2. Going on to chapter 3 next time. Yeah. Peace.